Hi everyone, welcome to another weekend review. It is Friday, I was about to say January. We're in July. It's Friday, July 28th, 2023, and the month is about to wrap up. We're basically dead smack in the middle of the summer. So I'm just going to come to you with some stuff. I'm not going to be as long. Hello to everyone that's joined because I'm tired. So we got to start off with COVID. We're still in the midst of COVID. There's no it's not a severe threat here, but it's a threat everywhere else around the country. So according to the World Health Organization, let's see, there were 289,911 new confirmed cases of COVID-19, and that's around the world. Cumulative cases are at 727,000. That was right. 760,727 cumulative cases of COVID-19. As of the fatalities, it is at 6,952,522. So again, with global confirmed cases is 668,560,727. And the cumulative fatalities are at 6.9 million, almost 7 million people dead around the world. Now, in terms of the USA, we didn't have any new cases in this country, but we still have the highest cases on the globe. Keep in mind, it's only 4.2% of the world's population. So we're at 103,436,829. And the death toll is at 1,127,152. So that's a lot of cases. Still, even though we didn't have any new cases, but we're still at 103.4 million. We still got the highest cases on the globe. If I tap Canada's only at 4 million. United States, 103.4. That's a big jump. You go to places like Brazil, 37 million. But of course, the United States have the highest cases on the globe. It's not that many people populating our country. We got the highest cases. But you still have to get vaccinated, of course. And speaking of vaccinations, there are 230 million Americans. So the exact number is 230,637,348 people that received the vaccine, got fully vaccinated. This doesn't include boosted people. So when I find the numbers of boosted people, I'll post it on my social. But overall, this here, we're still in the midst of this. So keep your mask on. Be safe. If you're going to large crowds, and if it's an enclosed space, you should have your mask on. I go to the gym, still got my mask on. As hot as it is, and as I'm breaking out because it's hot, I still have to put my mask on because COVID is still here. People are still, coming into the country. And keep in mind, rest of parts of the country received new cases. And these islands that people going to in Europe, they're receiving their new cases. And here we don't have no new cases yet. But the fall is coming, less than 2 months away, and, we could have a trifecta of things. We could have something worse than RSV. There could be another wave of different viruses here, and COVID is still here. COVID could still resurface. It's still a global threat. It's a global imminent threat. It's not an imminent threat here yet, but it's still a global threat. So the vaccine is free for us. Still, it's still on the emergency hold. You can get it from your doctor's office, hospitals, to the local pharmacy. You have no excuse. That's all I'm saying. Now on to these damn indictments. So The bum just received, the former White House occupant, I'm going to be nice, the former White House occupant received a letter from the special counsel who was hired by the Attorney General, which is Merrick Garland, he hired Jack Smith to oversee this investigation and hand out indictments. So as I read up more on these indictments, because this here is, I can't say it's like Law and Order. This is just a mess. It's just a damn mess. So here it is. According to NBC News, special counsel adds charges against Trump in classified documents case. Here's the latest on his case. A new indictment was filed Thursday in connection with the ongoing prosecution by special counsel Jack Smith of Trump and a top aide, adding charges against the former occupant of the White House for his handling of classified documents after he left the White House. The new superseding indictment also charges Carlos D. Oliva, there we go, Oliva, a maintenance worker at Mar-a-Lago who helped move the boxes in of classified documents. Trump announced last week that he received a letter notifying him that he is a target of a grand jury examining the January 6th riot and efforts to overturn the election, the other probe being led by Jack Smith. Members of the grand jury in the January 6th investigation were spotted at the courthouse today. A court official said later in the day that no indictments have been returned and that none were expected. Members of the grand jury were leaving the courthouse at 4:30. Speaking to the Truman Civil Rights Symposium in Washington, D.C., Biden took aim at Tommy Tuberville. No, this is something different. That's other news. I'll get into Tommy Tuberville maybe sooner or later. I don't want to discuss that ignorant man. And then I'm opening up AP. Of course, he denies any wrongdoing. As spokesperson dismissed the new charges, saying it's nothing continued desperate and failing attempt by the Biden administration. No, the DOJ is very independent to harass Donald Trump and those around him. Child, please. The boss said to do it. So the maintenance worker is basically saying, Donald Trump made me do it. So if you jump off the roof, you going to jump off the roof because your boss told you to? Okay, whatever. The indictment said in late June, the hearing took another employee to a small room known as the audio closet and told the employee the conversation should remain between them two. He asked the employee how many days the server retained surveillance footage and said the boss wanted this server deleted. When he gonna talk about that. When the employee said he didn't believe he was able to do that, assist, the boss wanted it done and asking, what are you going to do? I mean, he's charged for other things, such as the hush money stuff. And then he got to come back here for some other stuff with his kids is implicated in that. And that might turn criminal. And if it does, it's going to go either to Alvin Bragg or to Damian Williams. You don't want it to go to the SDNY because that's Damian Williams, because that would be crazy. And because it will be federal. So, with all of this stuff, How's it going to affect him? He's going to be known as thrice indicted, twice impeached, former White House occupant running on the GOP ticket. And he's already he already shit up the GOP party, right? The GOP has always been a mess, but Donald Trump made it more a mess. He let the racists inside the party. That's what happened. He let the big racists inside the party, and some of the racists that were inside the party already came out fully blown with their racist stuff, trying to pass their racist ideology and their racist legislation. So are we surprised? No, we're not. I don't know why people are so stunned about, oh my God, the Republican Party. The Republican Party has been a mess since 1968 with Nixon, with Ford, with Ronald Reagan, with the Bushes, even though the Bushes were not as chaotic as Ronald Reagan, but they had their shit too, because they had Cheney in their administrations. Both of them. 41 had him as the defense secretary, and Junior Bush had him as his vice president. And then you had that bum. And all the clusterfuck of the GOP, from conservatism to Tea Party to MAGA. What's going to be next? Cult? I mean, it's a mess. They don't agree. They fight in public. They fight way worse than Democrats. So why people are acting so stunned, I have no idea. But yeah, this is going to be a shit fire. And all of the candidates that's running in the GOP are trying to get the MAGA base, but don't want to be associated with MAGA. Do you realize MAGA is about damn near almost 50% of your party? Like, your constituency is 50-something% white women, almost 70-something% white men. That's the majority. And you got a sprinkle of Hispanics here and there, and like a tid of black people, and a tid of Asians. That just only support Donald Trump. They don't support any Republicans, so they're not getting that support. Like Tim Scott, Narada, Vivek, and this new guy that came in, Mr. Tsai. You're not getting the MAGA base. Like, if you're not Donald Trump or Ron DeSantis, you're just not getting the base. I mean, look at Mike Pence. He's not even going to be on a debate stage. And speaking of the GOP debates, I might watch clips because I'm not going to be invested in watching this. But their debate is coming up pretty soon. And Fox News is hosting. So, there are candidates that have met the threshold. And this is who they are. They're going to be appearing on the stage based on polling and fundraising. North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, former New Jersey Governor Christopher James Christie, Florida Governor Ronald DeSantis, former South Carolina Governor Narada Nikki Haley, entrepreneur Vivek, South Carolina Senator Timothy Eugene Scott, and Donald Trump. And then the candidates that met polling but doesn't meet fundraising requirements is Governor Asa Hutchinson and Michael Richard Pence, the former Vice President Donald Trump. Ooh, child. Talking about ghetto. I mean, am I surprised? Look at the way Asa Hutchinson and what you call it, and Michael Richard Pence are running their campaign. Nobody runs their campaign like that. It's not the 1980s, not even in the 1990s no more. We're in the third decade of the 21st century. If you're not a far extremist Republican or a loud and disgusting sloppy Republican, you're not getting the base. It's not happening. Your party has changed forever. There's no more standard guard Republicans, Anthony Scaramucci. That ship has sailed a long time ago. The Republican Party is full of extremists, cult-like people, and MAGA idiots, and racists. The Republican Party that was once the standard guard party, as if that party since 1968 has done anything for black people and that has not done anything for women, like they something, that party is gone. We went bye-bye. Yeah. No more reasonable Republicans, Alyssa. And as we move on to more stuff I'm going to speak briefly about the Hunter Biden plea deal. He took the plea deal. He's paying his taxes back. So all the Republicans need to calm down, need to leave him alone. There's nothing to investigate. But I want to give a shout out to Kevin McCarthy, who looked like an asshole on TV the other day when he was trying to sun the Republican. But there's clips of him literally, taking interest in impeaching the president of the United States. He got people in his caucus that want to impeach him. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert. There's a lot of people that want to impeach him and are still mad that Hunter Biden took a plea deal. First of all, let me just make this very clear. I'm going to be clear. I'm going to be concise. Robert Hunter Biden does not have a position in the White House. He never technically worked for the government like that. He only had one position in the government? Maybe so. But, yeah. He don't have a job in the government. You know who had a job in the government? Ivanka and Jared. And Ivanka was the daughter of the former White House occupant. And during her tenure, she was still earning money. Chinese patents. And her husband, Jared, was earning money from the Saudis. So where's the smoke for them? I'm waiting. More of the nonsense. Oh, before I am not doing invite videos because I have to upload this to other platforms and it won't let me if I add somebody. So, there we go. They got removed the person. I'm still here, so that's good. So, Mitch McConnell, Addison Mitchell McConnell. had a health scare, scared the shit out of everybody. I was scared. And I was just like, is he going to say something else? So they pull him back. Senator Thune said something. Yeah, yada, 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 yada. And they asked Mitch if he was okay, and this and that. He said he was fine. So here's my take on Senator McConnell. You know, I am sad. That's one thing, that he is feeling this way. I hope he recuperates. You know, I hope he, gets well. However, during his tenure in the Senate, he has a bad history. He's against voting rights. He's against civil rights. When he was the Senate Majority Leader, he was egregious. His mission, and he said he was going to make President Obama a one-term president. He jammed his presidency, tried to jam his presidency. I stand corrected, more than once. Okay? Also, during his tenure as a Senate Majority Leader, he withheld a Supreme Court seat after Scalia died. And when President Obama then nominated Merrick Garland, he did not even take one meeting with him. Not one. So as much as I feel somewhat bad because he's dealing with the sickness, I think about all the negative shit that he has done when he was the Senate Majority Leader and even as a voting member of the Senate. And stole not only one Supreme Court seat, but stole two. So why am I not crying my eyes out? Because he's receiving karma. So I hope Mitch, like I said, get well, but also read your Bible. Psalms 37. You need to read the whole entire Psalms 37, because that, sir, applies to you. Yeah, it does. So, next on my list, I already discussed the GOP primaries with the shit show they have. I don't have to say too much about the Democratic primaries because, like, the president is already the presumptive nominee. All them other knuckleheads is just chaos agents. But I will like to address the mainstream media, with the coverage of Mitch McConnell. Not extensive coverage, but there are people that have the audacity to come after Dianne Feinstein. And she's my favorite person? Not quite. She has done good work, though, during her tenure. Yes, she has. Even before she was, the senator, she has a history of being allied to the LGBTQ plus community and doing some good work. But does she need to retire? Yes, but the difference is she's not running for office no more. That's the difference. Mitch McConnell still wants to serve his whole term as if he is well. You got other senators that are old that I would like to list, because it's very interesting that we focus on one and there's more that needs to be focused on. So here it is. So as the oldest U.S. senators, you have Ed Markey, who is 76 years old. Richard Blumenthal, 77. Dick Durbin, 78. Angus King, 78. Ben Cardin, 79, who's also resigning from his position. Jim Risch, 79, Republican from Idaho. Addison Mitchell McConnell, 80. Actually, 81. Bernard Sanders, 81, going on 82 in September. Charles Grassley, 89. He's about to be 90 in September. And of course, you have Dianne Feinstein. But it's interesting. I want to focus on the ones in the 80s, not really in their 70s, even though they need to go. But you have Bernard Sanders, Addison Mitchell McConnell, and the Republican senator from, Idaho. So Mitch, Jim, and Bernie, it's interesting that no one talks about them like that, but we're focusing on Feinstein because she had shingles and she was out for a period of time. There's a couple senators that have been out for a period of time. Fetterman and McConnell. But we're focusing on Feinstein. Interesting. Because she sits on a powerful committee. Okay, that's fine. But if you're going to talk about old senators and if you're going to talk about older people in Congress and in the Senate, make it applicable to people that has been there for a while and that have caused chaos. Because we know Bernard is part of the reason why we have Trump. Let's see. That guy from Idaho, don't vote, for democracy. And then Addison is ruined the Senate for years to come. And we ain't gonna talk about how Charles Grassley is just a mess and downright damn near almost a bigot. So there you go. So let's keep it real and be honest. And I want to address Peter Baker especially. He said something about the president being old. I don't know which one says something about the president being old, but I want to address the mainstream media and even regular voters. Yes, the president is 80 years old, about to be 81 in November. The difference between him and say someone like Mitch McConnell, the bum, other 80-something-year-old white Republican men or 80-something-year-old white Democratic men, the president is in his right mind. Yeah, he's probably forgetful, forgets his phone or forget his pen. He's the president of the United States. I forget things. I'm human. I forget sometimes, I have to pay my bills. I almost was about to double pay my Con Edison bill. Didn't realize I paid it for the month of July. But my thing is, everybody's making a big deal about the president's age and he fell off his bike. He fell off the bike and got back up and got back on the goddamn bike. That's the difference. Mitch McConnell has been falling everywhere and hasn't really got up. He had help. He couldn't even complete a whole fucking sentence. But y'all want to get on the president of the United States, who is physically fit for his age. He's doing better than most 50-year-olds and beyond. And lower, younger age, because the man rides a bike. The man works out. Literally works out. He's in good shape. The president jogs. Even when he was vice president, he was jogging. Okay? So I'm going to need for all of you mainstream media people to shut the hell up. I'm going to need for you, all you disgruntled liberals, quote unquote liberals, because some of y'all or swinging moderates need to shut the fuck up too. Yeah, everybody be tripping. We all trip. You know, like we're all human. We all forget things. People forget things, and that's what the thing is. Like the president is literally running the country and literally is cleaning up the mess that was made by his predecessor, who did not know from A to Z how to run a country. So it took a competent person like Joseph Robinette Biden to run the country. Everybody's talking about, oh, he's 80 years old. He's old. Listen, the man probably goes swimming. We all know he goes hiking. He rides his bike. Okay, he rides his bike. He works out. He jogs every day. Like, what 80-something-year-old works out like President Biden? Let me know. Let me know. Because I'm waiting. I'm waiting for a list of people. I'm waiting for the list of people that jogs, that rides a bike, like President Biden. I'm waiting for another 80-year-old that's a politician that is holding a federal office that is physically fit like President Biden. I'm waiting. Any takers? People need to shut up and shut the fuck up. That's it. And there's another thing that people need to shut the fuck up on. The vice president went to Iowa. You know, she got a good base in Iowa. She set a rapport, you know, have a good taste and left a good taste in folks' mouths in Iowa, like she did in South Carolina. And she was well received. But you got some folks out there like Bill Kristol, Alyssa Farrah Griffin, Miles Taylor, and there's a other host of folks to list that say she's unpopular. Oh yeah, and one of the Republican candidates, Chris Christie, saying she's invisible. I would like to know all those poll numbers, or let's see, or all those stories of where the vice president is unpopular. I need to know. Because do y'all know what she does for, you know, Everyday Daily? Do you follow the White House Twitter page? Do you follow the VP's Twitter page or any of the aide Twitter pages on what she's doing? Because it's clearly out there. Like, I want to know what the following vice presidents before her have done. Starting with Gerald Ford before he became president, starting with Walter Mondale. Let's see, George H.W. Bush, Dan Quayle, Albert Gore, Richard Bruce Cheney, and Michael Richard Pence. I want to know what all of them have done. More so with Dan Quayle and Michael Richard Pence, because they seem like they're the most weakest vice presidents out of all the ones I named. What have they done? I need to know. I need to know what impact they have made on the administrations that they serve in, because we know Dan Quayle didn't make no fucking impact on George Herbert Walker's presidency. I want to know what impact Mike Pence made besides effing up the COVID response. I want to know. I need to know. Because it seems like everybody got smoke for Vice President Kamala Harris. Let me tell you, this is the most visible vice president I have seen since Joe Biden, when he was vice president. And obviously they're making impacts. She made an influence and an impact on the ARP, on Black maternal mortality bill that made Black maternal health week. She's working on the abortion stuff right now, and probably the voting rights stuff too. So I just want to know why she's so unpopular. Maybe because you don't like her. Just say you don't like her. I will respect the fact that you don't like her, then rather than just make shit up out your ass because you look stupid when you're doing it. Alyssa looks like a fool every time when she explains herself, try to compare her boss to the current vice president, which is no comparison because your boss was dumb as hell. Let's see. Miles Taylor was anonymous and now he's speaking out. He's such a punk. And then Bill Crystal, you work for George H.W. Bush. You work for a weak ass administration. And then I'm leaving out one person. Alyssa, you work for the most dumbest vice president ever. So I don't understand what's the beef. And then to these so-called white moderates, some of these white liberals that don't like Vice President Harris, let me just explain something. She's going to be on the ticket, whether you like it or not. He's not taking her off the ticket. Like it's been said more than once. He has said it 1,000 times. She's running with him. How many times people got to tell you? That's a package deal. So when you talk about the president, you got to talk about the vice president. When you talk about the vice president, you got to talk about the president. There's something called a goddamn package deal. That's what they are. That's what it's called. They molded together. They're like peanut butter and jelly, molded together on a piece of wheat bread. Lord have mercy. But I'm going to wrap this up because I have been talking out my ass. And it was great to see some of you good people that popped up on here. People tried to come and try to be a guest on here. Remove them from my live. And you guys have a wonderful night. Have a great weekend. Stay hydrated. Be blessed and highly favored.